All right, thank you very much. Okay, welcome back everybody. Mike Nashif here with Infinity Solutions and the Infinity Project. This is the last part of the IQ, but I wanted it to be a separate section because anytime you make one of these devices, okay, you need to know how to splice it into your wiring, okay, without actually tapping into your main wiring and messing up your house or somebody else's house. Okay, you just plug one of these units in, and we're going to show you how to hook it up. Okay, this is half of a 12-foot extension cord that I've used on the first part of this unit. Okay, right here, and we're going to utilize the second half. I don't waste anything if I don't have to, okay? And we're going to go ahead and move forward with this. It shouldn't take very long, okay? You're going to need some electrical tape and something with a sharp edge, okay? I've got my little Gerber tool here, my trusty little Gerber tool. You need the female side of your extension cord, okay? And you're going to need one of these. Okay. If you don't have one of the one of these right here handy, okay, you could just use an extension cord, all right, in the same manner, but cut it here down the center and only cut one wire, okay? Only cut the right side wire of your wire, okay? And you can utilize any wire. You just have to tap into the hot wire, and that's what we're doing here, okay? So this is what I'm doing. I push this all the way through, and then I pull the wire so that it's cut, and it's a lot easier to work with, okay? And again, I'm leaving about 2.5 inches or so, okay, extra. I want to make sure that I've got a good connection. Strip it off. Be careful. Most of these extension cord wires are multi-strand. And if you want to, okay, after you're done stripping the ends off, okay, and twisting them, it makes you feel better, okay? You can take these wires and dip it into your activated charcoal, okay? This helps speed up the process of nano coating. Now remember, when you're plugging in, okay, it's the right side, okay? And you want to make sure, if your plug isn't identifiable, okay, with a bigger hole versus a smaller hole, okay, it's these smaller holes here that you want to tap into, okay? It's these wires right here that you want to tap into. So if you're looking at your wire, okay, we know that we want this side, okay, and so we're going to extend that on this side over here, okay, just that side of the wire. That's your hot wire, okay? It's on the same side. All right? So that's the wire that you want to follow all the way to the ends, okay? which again would be on the right hand side, okay, for this one. So I like to sometimes, when I'm identifying things, that I might put it down, okay, that are the same, I'll tie a little knot in it, okay, and for me the knot means negative, all right, just to kind of hold it into place until I get the other piece taken care of, okay. That means that this side right here is my hot wire, and this would be the other side, okay. It doesn't really have to be the negative, but you know, I see everything in positive and negatives, so if this is the source side, then this would be the negative side, okay. We just want to continue the flow so that when it comes out this direction, okay, and continues. All right, now we're going to set this one off to the side for now, okay, and you need to pull out this device, okay. And here, okay, you can choose anywhere you want on this cord to put your splice in it, okay. All of my plugs are right here, so I'm going to put my splice somewhere right around the end of this area, all right, because this is where I want all of my plugs to be, and I want this to be able to be flexible and movable without having to worry about anything else, okay. So just going to take your wire, your knife, okay, and carefully cut through the insulation, okay. It looks thick, it looks tough, okay, but if you put a slight amount of pressure on it, okay, you can see that it cracks open, all right, and you end up splicing into this wire, okay. You got to be careful here, guys, all right, because you are still running a full current through this, okay, from your house if you plug this into the wall or a power inverter, okay. So if you accidentally nick the wires that are on the inside of that, all right, you just got to make sure and cover them up, because if you don't, then you run the risk of electric shock. And as with everything, with the Infinity Project and all of this open source technology, you're doing all of this at your own risk, okay. I'm just sharing how I do things, okay. You know that I'm not a professional scientist or whatnot, but I do understand how to be safe in my own body, okay. And if something doesn't feel right to you, okay, just take your time. And so we're learning to work with these things here. This is being the most complicated portion of all of it, really, okay, because you have to raise your awareness, otherwise you could cut yourself or, you know, do stupid things. These are just little plastic covers that are pretty thick, but they don't serve much of anything else, okay. And what I did here is I just started to score it so that it's a lot easier to tear, okay. And it's really difficult to do right here on this little plastic table in about 10 inches of square space. All right, so you got more space, you'll have a little bit easier time, guys. And I don't like all the extra noise that goes on from this plastic table. It's distracting. And I know, okay. I know that it's loud in the microphone if you're hearing my traffic and everything else. Okay. Because I'm tired of this thing, I'm going to plug it into itself. Get it out of the way. All right. Now, with this part, you're going to identify the black wire for American plug systems, okay? You've got a black, green, and a white. Your white is your neutral, your black is your hot, and your green is your ground, okay? The ground is obsolete when you're dealing with your units, okay? And you're not going to be connecting into the ground. But it is essential that you keep it, because when you complete your circuit here, when you plug it in, okay, you plug in a light, the electricity is allowed to flow. You complete that circuit, okay? So you want to tap into the black wire here, okay? All I've done is I've just exposed the wires here. I made sure not to nick them, okay, where I cut it, okay? And I'm going to cut this wire directly in half, and then I'm going to expose the copper wire in it, all right? So when you're doing all of this kind of stuff, other things crop up in your mind, and you start daydreaming about things that you want to do and the things that are possible with this technology. And, you know, I see a beautiful world ahead for all of us because of this teaching, the technology, and the sharing of information. You know, what I've got here is just one version. Not everybody on the planet is going to see this, okay? But eventually this technology will become a household name because of its simplicity. And, you know, being part of it on the ground floor is very exciting. I love being part of change, okay? Especially when it's nonviolent. I've seen violence, lived it, never solved anything, and I don't need to worry about anybody's country. You know, this is me. I'm only worried about me right now, and in the same process, I'm worried about everybody else, because I know that what I'm doing here is helping me. Okay, I know it will help you. That's why we're recording it now. Easy way to identify which one goes where. Okay, the knot goes closest to the plug. Okay, your negative wire, or you know what we call negative in plasma, all right, it gets attached to the one that's closest to the plugs here. All right, your source wire is what plugs into the wall. All right, and that's, you know, I've got it plugged into itself here. So all we're doing, okay, is just gonna splice these two together. Okay. Nothing fancy. Like I said before, all we are doing is adding about 150 feet, maybe more, maybe less, of wire to this circuit. And as the electricity runs through this device, okay, remember it's got to go an extra 150 feet or however long a wire we got in here. Okay, it's got to travel that extra distance in order to meet up with the neutral or the rest of the electrons, okay, at the source. So it's got to speed up its whole process in order to get to the finish line at the same time as the negative side or the neutral side of the electricity. So in doing so, when it speeds up that process, okay, that's what creates that induction field. But because we've nano-coded this, we are not talking in the same language as electrons, okay? We are talking in the same language as atoms and quantum physics and neutrinos and the soul, and we're talking in the same language that your heart beats in, and we're talking in the same language that whenever you stub your toe and it hurts, okay? Those are nerves, and that's pain, okay? We're talking the same language as your nerves. That's why we nano-code it, okay? I'm just taking a piece of regular electrical tape, and I'm going to close off this end here. Make sure that it doesn't come in contact for my own peace of mind. And it also makes other people comfortable when they see your designs, okay? We know that it's safe. All right, we understand the way plasma works, okay? But you don't want to scare away people when you make your designs. Make it look pretty, okay? Make it look safe. It already is safe, but make it look safe to somebody else who may not understand it, so that they don't have any reason to fear these designs and fear being shocked or electrocuted or whatnot, okay? And as we move into the manufacturing side of things, we'll see beautiful little cases designs, okay? We'll see these all pre-manufactured, so you don't see the wires, okay? You just see the little plug, okay? Maybe it'll be identified as a red plug or, something like that that will identify that it's all attached to it, okay? And so from here, you're going to see I'm just going to tape these together and cover up the wires, okay? And tape them all together so that nothing's exposed. And it looks all uniform. Take your time. Enjoy yourself. I can't exactly put music on while I'm doing this, so you have to listen to me talk. That is my music. No, I don't like hearing myself talk. That's why I wear headphones. My wife wouldn't agree with that, though. She says I love to hear myself talk. If I didn't talk to myself, then there would be a lot of silence in here. And I also wanted to mention, because I did mention earlier about, people's comments and things like that. I mentioned some of the bad comments. I wouldn't call them bad. Make sure you cut them long enough so it covers the whole thing. I appreciate all the support that you guys give me in the comments that you make. It is my goal to make sure and teach you guys and help you understand how plasma works on so many different, okay, on every aspect of your life, on how plasma can work. And so when you post your comments, about how I've helped, it really fuels my fire, guys, because that means I'm doing something right. If I don't get any feedback, good or bad, okay, then it kind of wants to die away. We lose interest in things. And that completes the splicing of this unit, okay? And now you've got the part that plugs into your wall, right? This is what you plug all of your load into, right there, all right? Everything you plug in here. You can plug, to start, plug another one of these into here, plug a one in each one of these, all right? So you think about this, if you position it right and you've got your wires and everything like that, once this is all conditioned, okay, I don't think there's much conditioning time for these IQs, but you can add more than one plug like this. All right, so this one's got 6 plugs in it. If you put 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, and 6, okay, that's 36 power outlets that you can run to other people's homes with extension cords, you know, things like that. And then from there, they can add another plug, okay, and base all of their electricity off of it. You could power an entire campground off of one plug, you know, as people are going. So, you know, think about that. Eventually, we'll move into no wires at all, okay? But for now, everybody needs to see the connection in order for it to work right, to believe that the plasma energy is there, all right? And then eventually, when the houses and the, you know, the buildings that people have their wiring and stuff like that, when they get nano coated in their vehicles, they become their own power source. Okay, your car, once you plug your unit in for so long, okay, it will nano coat itself. It becomes its perpetual power source. All right, and one of the answers, okay, that I've got for this, okay, when you plug it into your car, all right, this is your complete setup here, okay. We're going to utilize this small thing here. This is going to be plugged into your lighter adapter. Now somebody can draw up the schematics, you know, and share them with us, and we'll post them on our web page and stuff like that, okay. But plug the end of your plug, okay, into your power adapter, okay. This goes into your lighter, obviously, okay. This end over here, right, you can position anywhere you want, right? You take your cube, your IQ, and you plug this into it, all right? In doing so, you complete the circuit, okay? Now, you need a constant load. And if you're going to put this in your car, currently I have my lamp that I had in here, okay, my 120 volt reading lamp. I have it, excuse me, I'm rolling all over my power cords here. I put a 120 volt lamp. So every time I start my car, I know that that light, when that light comes on, I've got power, okay? My vehicle does not have a lighter that has constant power even when the key is turned off, okay? So every time the key is turned on, I have power. Some of you guys will have a constant on, always on charging port that you can plug this into, okay? And when you do that, your vehicle will nano coat a lot faster because it's on all the time, all right? You got to be careful when you're driving. You'll start noticing and feeling a difference in your vehicle. It will become lighter to the feel, to the touch. It'll take less effort for you to push the gas. It'll start wobbling, okay, in some aspects. If you put a trailer or you're pulling a trailer, you know, whatnot, it compensates for the trailer, so it feels like there's nothing there at all. All right, so it will increase the power of your vehicle as you need it for the draw to maintain the amount of hydrogen it takes to turn your engine over, okay? Now, I have not been able to test mine thoroughly, all right? I don't have years of testing behind it. I don't have the means to get professional testing. There are people out there that have these means already available to them. They work in automotive departments and things like that. One of the things that has crept up about these is that you might need to get the timing changed on your vehicle, okay? If it starts to clank or bang or you know, I wouldn't say clank because that's like $300 just for saying clank. You know, if it starts to feel rough or feels like it's not performing the way it should be, you have to adjust the timing, okay? Because you've changed from a gasoline fuel to a hydrogen fuel. And we're going to have to keep an eye on, you know, like the seals and the things like that that are inside your vehicle. Okay, mine is a '99 Honda Passport, and The green machine has been very loving to me over the last decade that I've had her. She's got 225,000 miles on it, still going strong. And, you know, but hydrogen's a little bit hotter, so it can affect some of the seals inside of your vehicle. So those are things that you need to take, you know, precautions with or keep an eye on. I haven't had any problems right now, but I haven't gone on any kind of a long road trip with mine. And I have not, I'm going to allow my vehicle, I'm going to put a gas tank in mine because I'm still not sure how much hydrogen my vehicle is producing, and I don't want to be stranded out here. Because if you've ever been in Texas, it's a long distance between towns. You know, we judge distance in hours. We could care less how many miles. It's how many hours it takes to get there. And, you know, I haven't been on any of those long road trips yet to experience it, but I need to put a gas tank, a little carry gas tank in my car, and I'm going to let my vehicle run past all the mileage that I'm used to before I fill it up. And I'm actually going to attempt to run my vehicle out of gasoline and see if it's producing enough hydrogen that I don't have to. Okay. Now, I don't even know if it's burning gas anymore at the moment, but I do smell some exhaust. Okay. And I don't know if it's because it is burning some gas. The last time I filled up, it was I did 222 miles, and it took 9 gallons out of an 18-gallon tank. So I'm getting about 444 or so, give or take, okay, miles to my tank. And before, I used to fill up my tank at about 325. So that's my judge, my fuel tank and my fuel gauge. Okay, my fuel gauge is broken, so I have to go by the odometer reading, and I'm pretty diligent about taking care of that. So that's the only way I can tell you my savings with it.
Does the vehicle computer reset the QC is installed?
I have no idea. Okay, it does not do anything that I know of to the electrical system except nano-code it. Okay, it shouldn't mess with any of it, but I'm sure that there's some people that might say that it will. It depends on the kind of vehicle that you've got, all that kind of stuff. For me, it has not reset anything on mine that I know of. All my idiot lights turned off once I plugged it in. So, you know, being an old vehicle, when the check engine light comes on, that means that everything was okay in my vehicle because every time it went off, I had a problem. And, you know, that's how the things worked for me. But I have not had any problems as far as the computer goes, but I don't have a newer vehicle. All right, some of you guys might have a newer vehicle. You might be able to see your gas gauge, you know, how many miles till you're empty, that kind of stuff. You know, I don't have all of that. My vehicle is held together with duct tape and deck screws right now at the moment. So hopefully things will pick up and I can get a new vehicle and do some more testing. And we'll move on from there. So are there any other questions regarding the assembly of this, okay, and the connection process, okay? This looks like a whole lot of wire, but trust me, you're going to want to utilize it later on once you start understanding the all the power here, okay, that you're trying to get. You just need a little bit of current, tiny. I mean, we're talking in nano amps here, okay, that you need to create a plasma, okay, to create and trap light energy. And when you're adding 60 hertz to it and 120 volts, you're compressing it, okay, and you're creating a stronger field on the outside to hold it on the inside. And in doing so, that energetic field is going to extend a lot further than you might imagine, okay? Your central core is right there next to you, okay? My central core here is about 6 inches or 6 feet, okay? Sitting right behind me. It's got my back, all right? So you got to remember, this is my central core, all right? I still have another energetic field that is way out there, okay? We're talking like 600 or 700 football fields, guys, all right? Now, that outer energy field is not as strong as this one, okay? This is the central core. The outer field is what you're trying to strengthen, and by combining these units that we've made, okay, you strengthen that outer core, okay, that outer energy field. You make it stronger so that it starts to affect those things quicker, all right, that are out there within this big energy bubble that you've created, okay? Now, I probably said that it's, you know, even smaller than what it really is, because if it only takes 360 of them, imagine putting 360 dots on the planet. Really insignificant, okay? So, you know, the more the merrier. The more units that we make over 360, the stronger our strength is on our planet. And this is how we get to take our planet back. This is like building the internet all around the planet, but using people instead of machines and servers and things like that. Because once we get these all up and they're all connected together, okay, then we get to move into teleporting goods, transportation of goods between point A and point B without using vehicles, okay, because we learn how to take this stuff and incorporate the field interactions so that the magic happens in the middle. Okay, and what we call magic is really science, guys. It's a left or a right. It's a positive or a negative. It's a plus or a minus. It's a red or a blue. You only have a 50-50 chance of, you know, of doing it a different way. It isn't a mistake. It's just doing it a different way. And, you know, you can do it any way you want, okay, if you follow the same rules that I teach, okay, where you build it from start to finish, all right, from left to right. And you keep your source in your left hand, and you do all your twisting with your right hand, and you make it turn clockwise, okay, you're going to succeed in everything that you do with this, all right? This one right here that I made, okay, that's all black and nano-coated, this is for my friend Anuj, okay? And I used that special caustic solution that I made in my first one with all the vitamin D and the cannabis and things like that, okay? Because Anuj has been complaining about hunger pains, all right? Just suddenly getting these massive hunger pains, and I understand it. I'm not starving, okay? So I know that he's going through the same things that I'm going through physically, so I'm trying to be empathetic and help cut down on that. Those hunger pains. And if you know his situation, he is, you know, apologize, Anuj, if this isn't what you need or want. But he's bedridden and has been for, you know, over a decade. And right now he's suffering from muscular dystrophy, and it's eating away at his muscles. And we are working, you know, diligently to try and help him so that he can get up and walk again. And you know, I've sent him a package of some devices that I made earlier on before I went to Hawaii, and then you know, he's been asking for help with this hunger pain, and I've got a gentleman in New Jersey, where Anuj is located, that is building a food unit, okay, based off of the Kesh technology. Try and help him with that. And what we're doing with him is that we got to feed his body extra plasma so that he can build up the muscle that's melting away right now. And, you know, over the last few months, he has had to learn to love himself because he got depressed. And, you know, he has worked on that, and he's keeping himself busy. And for somebody who can't move, who doesn't have society pressure, but he's trapped by doctors, okay, because he's trapped in his own body, but his mind is perfect, and he knows that this is his answer to walk again. And when he first contacted me, I had a very vivid image of him walking into my driveway and gave me a hug before I even really knew his situation. And I can't see anything else. Okay, but this man hasn't walked in, over a decade. And so that's the kind of stuff that we're working on here. And he can't eat like we can. He can't get up and walk and go to the refrigerator and get a snack. So he's got to lay there and suffer through these hunger pains. And so we're trying to bring him some relief. And that's really why I made this caustic solution. I'm going to send this to him. But what he needs right now is that he needs your guys' thoughts, okay? And you don't necessarily have to see his face or see him or whatever, but if you take and see his name, okay, and you picture a young man about 28, I believe, okay, that is laying in a hospital bed with a breathing tube down his throat, okay, and he's got one hand on his special mouse or whatever so that he can type, and he's learned how to maneuver all of his body functions into his fingers, okay? And I need you to picture him. I need you to send him some love, okay? Picture his body swelling back up into its normal size as the muscles develop, I would love more than anything for him to witness this because, oh, wait, he is, because he's going to. It's his body, But if we have enough people that'll focus their energy on him, we can utilize this program that he tried to put in place, a few months ago, and it's called the Distance Healing Program, where we can take a group of people that are spiritually like-minded, maybe Reiki masters or, energy healing masters, that kind of thing, okay? And we get a group of them together, and we all focus on the individual that needs help. And they don't have to be present, but we do have to have some sort of a visual for them. And that's the kind of program that he has set up. And, he set it up to help other people, but I want to use that setup to help him. I want him to be, to have the fruit of his own labor. I want this, that's my passion. I can't imagine living a life trapped in a body that I can't control. And it hits home for me because my own brother, who's in his 20s, is completely dependent on my mom and dad. And he can't talk. He's wheelchair bound. He's not a quadriplegic or anything like that, but he acts like he's a toddler. He rolls on his tummy. He plays with toddler toys and things like that. And I know it was the vaccines that did this. I know it in my heart. And I know I can fix him. Just like I can help fix Anush. But it has to be on the level of his own personal, I love me. He has to decide that he wants to live. And it goes with anybody that's sick and that is been labeled as terminally ill from cancer or whatever. If you listen to the doctor and you tell him, oh yeah, I got 6 months to live, and you believe him, okay, you set off that little trigger in your brain that starts to shut down your body. And it's a little timer that says that in 6 months you're going to die. Well, if you don't believe it, then you're not going to die, okay? I know this firsthand because my wife was diagnosed with brain cancer, okay, and some tumors in her brain. And she was scheduled to, this is before we met, she was scheduled to do some chemotherapy and decided that she didn't want to go. And she ignored it. That was almost 10 years ago. And when I say that she ignored it, she decided that she didn't want to die. And she made that decision and she beat it. And she didn't realize that until, a couple of months ago you know, when we started reading all this stuff about cancer and learning for ourselves and educating ourselves, we didn't know about all that stuff, you know. And the experiences that we've got, that's what we're sharing. If you guys don't want to take the time to do the research, then there's plenty of people out there that have already done it. Don't argue with us, you know. We're here to so that you can prove us wrong. That's really what it is, you know. I'm showing you how to make this. You tell me if it doesn't work. If you make it the way I tell you, then it will work. So you can't come back and tell me that it doesn't work, you know. There's only one way that you can make these, and, you know, I'll teach you the right way to make it. If you follow those directions, it'll work. And if you come back and tell me that it's not working, it's not because of the design that I showed you, you know. A lot of people like to, you know, oh, you're not going to take responsibility for, you know, whatever. It isn't about the responsibility here, you know. This is one wire. If you screw this up, it's because you screwed it up, okay? There's an in and an out, a left and a right, a positive and a negative, okay? This is also one wire, okay? If you can't connect the positive to the positive, or the twisted end, bent end, okay, together, and the non-bent end together, and place them inside of a jar, then you shouldn't be doing this, guys. All right, it really is that simple. You just got to give, you know, I have 7 and 8-year-olds that are doing this kind of stuff already. They're drawing their own plasmatic circuits. Once they, you know, see that it's just spirals and you put a line next to each other and, you know, it interacts in the middle, they understand the concept of a maze. And that's what we're working on here, is we're just creating a maze for the plasma to follow, a path. And it only works one way. So it's pretty simple. And like I've said before, guys, that, you know, with this knowledge comes a responsibility. The responsibility that is, if you're going to make one, you make one, okay? Your life will change profoundly, okay? And if there's somebody that you don't necessarily care for at the moment, show them an act of kindness and make one for them and give it to them, okay? Give it to the most belligerent people you know and tell them, hey, I want to help you, okay? And if I can reduce your electric bill, please utilize this, okay? When you do so, you're bypassing their minds and their mouth, okay? All of the racism, the bigotry, all of the hatred, all of that crap that the media is feeding us, you bypass all of that stuff, guys, okay? This right here, this device, it speaks the language of their nerves, okay? It speaks the language of their soul and their brain waves, okay? It speaks the language of their heart. So you're literally bypassing all that bigotry and all that hatred that's spewed out of the mouth and the brain, okay? And this is the connection device that connects your heart with your mind, okay? But they get to do it on their own. The only thing you're doing is giving them the tools to start, okay? And I promise you, you give one of these away to people, the worst people in the world, you give it to them and they will change, okay? We are plasma. We are life. We are the universe, okay? Human beings are extremely special, okay? We are smarter than any other species out there because we have their combined efforts, their combined love. They gave it to us, okay? And this is what we're doing with it, okay? We're turning it into these little devices that are, you know, bigger than a handful of lighters, okay? It's going to change your life. And that's why we're here. It's so simple, okay? They're trying to stop us on the internet because that's the only way that they can stop us, okay? That's on the internet. So when we make enough of these, 360 of them, then we create our own internet, okay? We don't need anything else. And if the sun was to give us a big burst of energy that would take out all the satellites in your internet, okay? This stuff is not affected by that, okay? The plasma is not affected by that. It only affects electrons and electrical devices. And so, you know, this fear of an EMP attack or anything like that, this counters all of it. Okay. And when you protect and you've got this plugged into your home, okay, and your building becomes nano coated, you've got this protective bubble. Okay. Speaking of which, I want to show it before I get off. Okay. You get this protective bubble around your home. Okay. Just like you can see the plasma, you know, transferring through my body. Okay. As you can see it transferring through my body, as you know, on some of my other videos. Okay. It's transferring through the walls. Okay. Through the ceiling, and it's giving you a little, you know, like a layer, a buffer layer. All right. That'll also help keep you under control, not under control, but keep you under protection from like EMP bursts or the sun bursts and things like that. And everything that's within that bubble becomes healthy and loving and caring, and there's no more competition for nutrients and food. So that's where we're working with this. I'm going to attach my iPad here real quick, and I want to show you today's weather. And I do believe that my energy fields are interrupting the radar. So I wanted to show that to you. Let me connect my iPad and share it. Okay. Come on. All right. I have a serious echo. Let me guess, you guys didn't hear a word of that. I hope you heard it.
No, there was no talking during your screenshots.
All right, let me pull it back up then. I was trying to get rid of the echo and I muted everything. All right. What I was explaining, okay, is out of all of this storm that we see here on the screen, okay, when it comes up, maybe. There we go. You can see I'm up here on the top right corner here. All right, that little blue dot. All right, you see all this weather that's down here, and it's just solid rain. And then we zoom in. And this is what around my house looks like. Okay, just a little circle around it. And like I said, I don't think I stopped. I know I didn't stop the rain because it was pouring down rain when I checked. Okay, which would be about the equivalent of the yellow. All right. But here it looks like I'm not getting any rain. So I feel like I've been blocking the Doppler radar here at the moment. So it could be the fact that I've got my car unit out there and my house unit, okay, where I've got two, because it always takes two to tango. But this is something that we need to figure out, and so we don't interrupt everyday safety stuff, like when we get tornado warnings and whatnot. Those are the things that we need to think about and consider as the consequences, both good or bad. Okay. But I guess this would be kind of a way of saying, like a new shed, that this is the shielding effect. Okay. And this is quite a ways distance here. And like I said, I don't have any way of measuring or anything like that, guys. This is just utilizing my radar app and that I've got for my local weather. And this is what we're dealing with. So, but I wanted to share that with you guys, and answer any more questions that you have. And we're going to go ahead and stop this video here soon. So if you've got any other questions, let me know. This is not the first time that my wife and I have altered the weather. I've done it several times myself. Early on, when I did my, there was a lot of strong storms that came about at the end of the year last year, or the very beginning, and some tornadoes blew through Texas. And there was one particular night that coincidentally, okay, and if anybody knows me, I don't believe in coincidences. It just so happened that there was two reported tornadoes 6 minutes apart, one heading for my family in one area of Texas, and the other one heading for a part of my wife's family in the other part of Central Texas. And I remember that night being very concerned because it was late at night, couldn't get a hold of anybody to make sure that they were, aware. And I remember standing out on my front porch and calling to the weather, breaking it up, visualizing a wedge between the storms, okay, literally breaking it in half and causing it to separate, okay, dividing the strength. And afterwards, I got so exhausted, okay, because I used my own personal energy to, I feel, stop those storms, because neither one of them lasted very long on the ground. It could have been a coincidence, all right? But to me, I believe that I've altered those storms in their path. It also happened that that really big storm, that Category 6 that was getting ready to slam into Mexico, okay? I don't believe that I personally was, responsible for that, but, it was pretty coincidental that 4 hours after, I think it was about 4 hours after I made a post on my Facebook, and I think even on Infinity Project page, about people to be aware, that the biggest storm in history is about to slam into Mexico. And within 3 hours, it went from a Category 6 down to a tropical depression. And then it insisted on bringing about, I think, 9 inches of rain to Texas and everything in between. But that's never been heard of, Okay, and I'm pretty sure that all the prayers and the blessings that everybody sent all had something to do with it. Okay, and I want to bring light to that, because it's those positive prayers of looking out for other people is what changed that, I believe. Okay, what we call God, okay, the consciousness is listening, and they are able to hear us now. And when you say a prayer and a blessing, you know, the only thing you need to do is not say amen. Okay, just say your blessing. And it's, when you say amen, it's like pushing the enter button to send it to somebody else's mailbox that you don't even know. Okay, that's what it's like when you say amen. So if you just leave off amen or Amen Ra or the sun god of Egypt or whatever it is that you feel like you might be praying to, just know that your prayer might be hijacked because you're saying amen. And that was kind of the secret, among the churches. So simply say your blessing in your prayer, and just don't say amen, and it'll be heard, and most likely be answered. So we're here. The prayers are being answered. They've heard you. Okay, we've all heard ourselves, and we're the people that we've been waiting for to come and save us. And when I say come and save us, that means we're going to help ourselves. And in order to do that, you got to make these units and become independent of the system, and help yourself before you can help others. So that's why I'm asking for you guys to just take the time. It might take you 3 or 4 hours. It might even take you 10 hours to do the first one. Okay? But 10 hours out of your whole life. Okay? If you called in sick for one day that you worked 10 hours for, and you took the time to make this device from start to finish, just listening and watching my videos, you'll change your life profoundly. That 10 hours worth of work is what you're investing into your soul and your family. And I promise you will not be disappointed. Nice one with the amen. Somebody asked, Anuj, so we have a solution for redirecting storms. Yes. Okay. Your distant plasma healing network can also be used for redirecting storms and things like that. You can also utilize it to focus on volcanoes and earthquakes and all of the anomalies that are happening here on the planet. Okay, the light workers here on the planet have agreed to absorb all of these extra vibrations and energy from planet Earth, so that she decides not to shake us off like fleas, as in the old biblical version and the destruction, of the surface of our planet. It's not going to happen this time. The actual water levels are going to lower, all right? All that salt water that's there, that's building up now from the poles melting, is going to fill all the little tunnels inside of the planet, where all the elites hiding, that 1%. And the planet Earth is going to cleanse herself and her bowels of all the parasites that she's got. So don't be worried about them anymore. Let them go hide in their little things, because you're not going to get left behind. The surface is going to become beautiful, and they're stuck underground like worms. So just let them be, okay? Let them understand what they're doing and what they're going through. And, these groups, when I'm talking and you're seeing me make these things, okay, and I try to paint a picture for you in your mind, and I allow a lot of personal interpretation on your side to make sense of this stuff. So when you do have an understanding and it does help you, utilize the same kind of terminology, but put it into your own aspect and how it worked for you, That's how this is supposed to work. We're sharing our experiences. And now that the Infinity IQ here has been complete, that's going to be the end of this this series that we've got here, and you know, for the IQ. And there's no excuses, guys. You know, you have everything that you need. So, you know, just gather the materials that you need. Ash from wood. Okay, don't use barbecue. Fresh water. If you've got some rusty water that's got the crap floating around in it, grab it. Okay, that'll help. Regular copper wire, 18 gauge, aluminum foil, paper towels, tissue paper, or some sort of a paper product that'll absorb water, an extension cord, a multi-plug adapter, electrical tape, some pliers, I can't think of anything else, and I'm kind of going off the top of them. All right, I do believe that's it. Like I said, I utilize, you know, I buy a lot of my things off of Amazon. I try to get the bulk setups of things. I have recently, I'm going to put this on the airwaves. Okay, I've recently updated the address and the phone number on the Infinity Project page for those that would care to send, you know, your donations directly. You can go ahead and send it to that address. It's being redirected to a P.O. box. But I've decided to go ahead and put my address out there for the Infinity Project. For one, I have no fear. Okay, if you want to come, you bring guns. I've got guns. Okay, but I don't need them. All right, this plasma has pushed away more people that were going to cause me problems and pain than any gun. And so I have no fear with any of this. But if you want to help, okay, I've got the address there. If you need a place to go to, because you're living in these areas where the volcanoes are becoming more active and you need to get away, you don't know where to go. Well, I've got a place where you can go until you figure it out. Okay, this isn't a permanent place. Okay, but you can come here to learn, to teach about, you know, become a student of nature. Okay, you know, I'm not going to feed you or you know, take care of your family in that sense. I can't do that. I've got my own to take care of, so you're going to be responsible for yourself. Okay, but we can work together, and we will figure it out. And you know, I know that this is the beginning of how the cities of light are created, and it doesn't take very long to do so. There are options here. I have land that I can lease, but I need the help right now. You know, until things go to shit and we still have the laws in place, we still got to follow them. You know, and when it comes time for survival tactics, you may not have the internet to search for my address or directions on how to get here or whatever. You know, just like Motel 6 is going to leave the light on for you. You know, and those of you that need a place to stay, okay, I've got land. Bring a tent, bring a camper, you know, bring what you need. Okay, you'll realize that your possessions are going to become really heavy as you transit back and forth on these things, and you'll find out you don't need them as much. And so when you get here, you're probably going to have less than when you started, and that's okay. You know, but from here, I'll teach you about plasma. Okay, if you bring an RV out here, I'll help you make it so that it's completely plasmatic, so you don't have to worry about gas. Okay. you know, that you don't have to worry about electricity. You go anywhere. Okay? Where would you go if you didn't have to stop for gas or you didn't have to plug in for electricity? You know, where would you go? You don't need to be in the city. You know, you don't need to be anywhere where anybody else is if you don't want to be. And this planet is big enough for everybody. And there's enough land out here that you can take your own little piece of it and turn it into a piece of heaven. And it can be away from everybody or it can be as close to everybody. Okay? For those of you that live in the cities, make these things. Donate it to a hospital or a private, a patient that's in a hospital. Okay? You're going to affect the entire hospital. And it'll be pretty amazing to see an entire hospital of kids get up and walk away and say, fuck you to the system. You don't get to use me as an experience, as an experiment anymore. You know? This is a non-violent revolution, as it's called. I'm being blacklisted on Facebook. I'm doing, you know, I must be doing something right, guys. So, you know, I know that this is a very long one, but I wanted to cut it off here about 7 o'clock. I appreciate you again, guys, that you're listening to me, you know, hearing my words. I hope you take it to heart, you know, a lot of it. Take what works for you, utilize it. If it doesn't work for you, it's okay. This is just my opinion, you know. I love everybody. You know, it's just a matter of getting people to work together, you know. And by helping yourself and making one of these, you reduce your electricity, you reduce, you know, your gas bill, if not eliminate it completely. Those are two big things. You can ask it for food. You know, you can put them together and make your spaceships and, you know, plasma devices and everything. Okay, so this is the beginning. This is the first building block to your life, and connecting to your higher self. Using infinity just secures your future. Okay. Anyway, I love you guys, and again, thank you for listening to me. And we'll see you. Thank you very much. And the next time that I will officially be online will be Monday at 9 o'clock. Okay, I used to start at 8, but I don't like getting up that early. So we're going to do it 9 o'clock Central Standard Time on Mondays. And keep an eye out on the Infinity Project page and my personal page. Share, share, share. Okay, the more people we've got this recording on their computers, the less likely it is that they'll be able to delete it and squash it. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. Peace. Thank you guys very much.